Hey everybody, as you know, the NFL Combine is coming to a close, or is at a close depending on when this video comes out, and I decided to take a break from my normal draft stock videos to discuss 4 winners and losers at every single position in the NFL Combine, starting today with defensive tackle. Winner number 1, and this one goes without saying, Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. He had himself an absolutely phenomenal NFL Combine. He was very, very polished in everything he did. He looked and jumped off the screen at you. He didn't perform in the athletic drills, which is always kind of a downside for a lot of players, but he really didn't need to. A lot of his weaknesses weren't on his athletics. He showed extreme quickness and change of direction abilities in his drills. Definitely looked like the kind of player that you'd expect him to be. Coming out of a program like Ohio State. He showed some great feet and some good body control during drills, especially during the shuttle drills. He really impressed me quite a bit, especially during those drills. Not to mention, he tested extremely well throughout the board. I mean, he was one of the highest rated defensive tackles at the Combine. He definitely made himself some money. I mean, he was a mid to late second rounder, could possibly have slipped into the third round. I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't go in the early second round now, maybe even sneaking into the first round. I don't think he will, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he snuck into the first round. For our first loser of the list, we have Jordan Phillips from Maryland. He struggled a lot, to say the least. He did not perform in the 40 despite his questions about his speed. He looked extremely uncomfortable in his drills. He actually had quite a few sloppy reps during the Combine as well. He had constant foot control issues. Now, how much of that was him and how much of that was the new turf that all the players were struggling, we won't know. But all in all, just a not great Combine by Jordan Phillips. Somebody that needed a great NFL Combine to really raise or even solidify their draft stock. He definitely didn't do that. I hate to say it, but Jordan he made me cringe at the Combine because he just did not look comfortable out there. He didn't do himself any favors, and he might have hurt his draft stock more than helped. For winner number 2, we have Derek Harmon out of Oregon, another fringe first round, second round guy. He ran a sub 5 second 40 at a monstrous 6'4", 313 pounds. That's insane. Somebody that big should not be able to move that fast, and he cleared that debate. He looked extremely well polished and had a pretty noticeable, remarkable speed in his drills. You're gonna notice throughout my entire time of talking about these these bigger guys, that their speed is just insane. It's definitely a lot better. He showed great power in his slaps and great body control during drills, especially the shuttle and the 3-cone drills. And again, similar to Tyleik Williams, very good scores across the board. He's one of the biggest benefiters from not having Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, and Walter Nolan competing in the Combine. And he might have propelled himself into a first-round pick, solidified now. He was kind of on that fringe area, but now I think he could definitely be a first-round pick. Maybe a late rounder, but still, he's going to be a late first-round pick at the very least. I can't see him going below that. For loser number 2, unfortunately, we have Cam Jackson out of Florida. He ran a 5.17 in the 40, and he didn't really test well in athletic testing in general. Definitely showed his weight in his drills. He was unremarkable in his speed in his drills as well. He didn't really stand out in his speed. He showed some iffy foot movement. Again, not sure of how much of that was the turf and how much of that was his actual control of his feet. But there were several instances of slipping and poor body control anyways. He definitely struggled quite a bit, and there were quite a few high hopes for him coming into the Combine, and he didn't do himself any favors. He didn't perform well enough, and he could still be rated as a lower pick. Right now, he was sitting at about a 5th round selection grade, maybe lower. He may be treading towards that lower spot now. Winner number 3 is a surprise to me, Darius Alexander out of Toledo. He ran a sub 5-second 40, and his solid testing all around in athleticism was pretty astounding for somebody his size. He showed pretty good body control and quickness throughout his drills, amazing intensity throughout the entire combine. He was somebody that definitely wanted to be there, and he had a lot to prove. He proved it. He was one of the highest graded defensive tackles in the combine as well, behind, of course, the top dogs. I didn't know a whole lot about Darius before the combine, but he's definitely propelled himself into making some money. He was a mid-second rounder, maybe somebody that could slip into the 3rd round, but he definitely made himself some money. He may even go in the 1st round. I don't see it happening. There's just too many other good defensive tackles that are a little bit better than him, but I definitely think he made himself some money. He could end up being a 1st rounder. Loser number 3 is Yahya Black, somebody that a lot of people don't actually know about, defensive tackle out of Iowa. Kind of looked out of place at the combine. Ran one of the higher 40s at 5.39. Didn't test great in athleticism anyways. Body control wasn't there, and he was pretty much altogether unremarkable throughout the drills. He really needed a strong combine, and his drills just didn't pan out the way he probably hoped, and his draft stock might take a hit. Winner number 4 is Ty Robinson, defensive tackle out of Nebraska. He surprised a ton of people with the fastest time out of defensive tackles with a 4.83. Overall, very good athletics testing. He showed a ton of polish and technique all throughout his drills. Solid body control, especially in the shuttle drills, and very few mistakes. He definitely looked like the most polished player there. Outside of the big dogs, I really could see Ty Robinson making himself some money. He was somebody I hadn't really heard of 2 days ago, I'll be completely honest, but he jumped off the screen at every opportunity that he had in the combine and showed himself to be a possible 3 technique and maybe even a rotational defensive end guy at the next level. And unfortunately, loser number 4, I'm going to go with Tim Smith out of Alabama. He didn't participate in the athletic drills despite many athletic concerns. Was pretty unremarkable during drills. Nothing really stood out. Showed a lack of explosiveness during drills. Body control and foot movement were really below average. I didn't really care too much for Tim Smith's game when he came into the combine, but he's one of those guys that needed a strong combine to solidify his draft stock. Right now, he's a 7th to undrafted rated guy. So one of those guys that the NFL Combine just kind of comes out and says, we're going to give you a chance. He did not take advantage of that chance.